So, let's talk about normies today. The word normie is often used to describe people who follow society's rules. They want to fit in with the crowd and they want to live by mainstream values. Pretty normal. Well, they are normies. But what does it really mean to be a normie? Is fitting in a good thing or a bad thing? How do normies balance being themselves with the pressure to conform? These are questions that we need to answer. By looking at the ideas of philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche, Søren Kierkegaard, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Michael Foucault, we can better understand the normie and sympathize with them, and what their choices say about life, freedom, and, well, society. Starting with Friedrich Nietzsche. Friedrich Nietzsche was, of course, critical of people who blindly follow the crowd. In his book, Thus Spoke Zarathustra, he talks about the last man, someone who avoids challenges, seeks comfort, and doesn't strive for anything great. Nietzsche writes, "The earth has become small, and on it hops the last man who makes everything small. His race is as ineradicable as the flea beetle. The last man lives longest." The normie in this sense is like Nietzsche's last man. They prefer safety, routine, and fitting in over taking risks or chasing big dreams. Normies don't question the rules of society, they just go along with them. Nietzsche challenges normies to break free from the crowd, to stop settling for an ordinary life and to create their own path. Now let's take Søren Kierkegaard. What does he say? Søren Kierkegaard, which is of course another philosopher, he actually talked about three ways people live their lives. So they live their life either through the aesthetic way, where they focus on pleasure, the ethical way, where they focus on doing what's right, or the religious way, which is self-explanatory, or if you want to know, is focused on deeper meaning, or, spirituality. Normies, he might say, live in the aesthetic sphere. They care about fitting in, they care about looking good, and enjoying life without thinking too deeply about who they are or what they truly want. Kierkegaard wrote, "The crowd is untruth." Kierkegaard believed that normies hide in the crowd to avoid the hard work of figuring out their true selves. Instead of facing the anxiety of making their own choices, they follow society's rules. Kierkegaard would tell normies to stop living on autopilot, to think about what really matters, and to take responsibility for their lives. Now, another philosopher, his name is Jean-Paul Sartre, and he had a term for when people lie to themselves to avoid facing their freedom, and he called it bad faith. In his book, Being and Nothingness, he goes on to explain that humans are free to make their own choices, but this freedom can be scary. Normies, Sartre would say, use bad faith to escape this fear. They act like they have no choice but to follow society's rules, even though deep down they know they are free to do otherwise. Sartre wrote, "Man is condemned to be free because once thrown into the world, he is responsible for everything he does." Normies, in Sartre's view, are running from this responsibility. They pretend they have to live a certain way, but in reality they're choosing to conform. Sartre would push normies to stop pretending, to embrace their freedom, and to live authentically. And then we have Michael Foucault, and he looked at how society uses power to control people. And in his book, Discipline and Punishment, he explains how institutions like schools, prisons, and even social media create normal behavior. Normies, Foucault would say, are shaped by these systems. They follow the rules because society rewards them for fitting in and punishes them for standing out. Foucault wrote, "The individual is no doubt the fictitious atom of an ideological representation of society, but he is also a reality fabricated by the specific technology of power. In other words, normies are products of the systems around them, but Foucault also believed that power is not absolute. People can resist, they can go against it. He would encourage normies to question why they follow the rules and to imagine new ways of living. And in today's world, being a normie looks a little different. Social media, for example, pushes people to seek likes, followers, and approvals, and gifts, and all sort of things. This modern version of fitting in is like Nietzsche's herd mentality, Kierkegaard's aesthetic life, and Sartre's bad faith, just all as if they all did a fusion dance and became one. Normies today might feel pressure to look perfect online, to follow trends and to avoid rocking the boat. But Foucault reminds us that power isn't just something that controls us. It's something we can push back. We can push back against. Normies today have the power to question the rules, to resist the pressure to conform, and to find their own way. The challenge is to stop living on autopilot and start making choices that reflect who they really are.